Hey guys, I'm Randy with Sour Station Farm, and today we're talking about lab-grown meats. So if you're not familiar with lab-grown meats, let me get you up to speed. Basically, here's the recipe for lab-grown meats. Take some cells, stick them in a vat, add some minerals, some nutrients, mix it all up, let them grow out. Ta-da! You've grown meat that's identical to animals, minus the animals. So in 1931, Winston Churchill says, "We shall escape the absurdity of growing a whole chicken to eat the breast or wing by growing these parts separately under a suitable medium." How in the world he had that insight or idea? It was 1931. So it's super nasty outside, it's wicked windy, so I'm going to film this inside. So I've been mulling this over a little bit. The argument for cultured meats is that it is 100% real. So if it is considered 100% real, could it then also become 100% certified organic? I mean, after all, hydroponics, plants that are grown in a water medium, have been allowed to become certified organic, right? The major foundational principle of organic agriculture and organic certification is building better soils, healthier soils. So now you have a situation where companies, farms, I guess, are growing plants in a soil-less medium. Since they're not growing in the soil, the argument was that they are not subject to the same rules as those growing in the soil. And this is pretty contentious between hydroponic supporters and growers and folks working on the land and those who are certified organic. Maybe not, maybe some of you aren't. So now, plants that are grown in a nutrient-rich water bath inside a warehouse or a factory have the same labeling standards as a plant that is actually grown on the landscape in soil, subject to the whims of nature. So you can see where that might cause some issues, because it's kind of like not the same playing field, right? Kind of in the same parallel, livestock and meats out on the landscape are now moving inside into the factory. Lab-grown meats are on the rise. There's a ton of examples. I'm just going to share 3 interesting ones with you, just for you to go investigate. The first one, the company called Eat Just has become the first company to actually begin manufacturing lab-grown meat from animal cells for consumption, and they're exporting these products to Singapore, a restaurant named 1818. So they can take some cells from a chicken, put them in a vat, put a bunch of amino acids, nutrients, all this good stuff, and grow out basically chicken meat that they turn into chicken nuggets and then ship them to Singapore. We have not got US authorization for it yet, but it has been approved and it's in the works. There's like, I don't know, a dozen or more companies working on this, so it's coming down the pipeline. A second interesting company that I come across is this company called Because Animals. They're leading the charge on pet food. Again, take a few cells, put them in a large bioreactor, add in your nutrients, flip on Claire, their cat artificial intelligence program that will oversee everything and run it. Wait a little while, out comes mouse meat. Lab-grown mouse meat. Okay? When you go to their website, their packaging has like a cat and a mouse right in love with each other, and then it says Harmless Hunt. I feel like cats across the world should be shaking their arrogant little heads in disgust at the thought of a harmless hunt for a mouse. That's enough said on that one. And lastly, this is pretty crazy. Every single one of these 3 kind of examples that I'm bringing up could have their own videos in depth. I just want to kind of point these out to kind of show you where we're at. September 26, 2019, Aleph Farms and 3D BioPrinting Solutions successfully 3D printed lab cultured meat on the International Space Station. There's just a lot going on there. Not only do you have lab grown meat, but you have 3D printing of meat and doing it in space. Check. There's a lot to delve into there. The point being, the technology is advancing, no matter what. Right? This is not just an obscure happenstance. Our kids, this is probably going to become ubiquitous in my life. I mean, shit. Let me look at this stuff. So, back to my original thought. Could lab-grown meats become a certified organic product? And I used the hydroponic example earlier because it perfectly mirrors the same kind of situation. If you were to only use certified organic ingredients in your lab cultured meat, then couldn't you therefore have an organic certified lab grown meat? I mean, the arguments are basically the same, or could be the same as the hydroponic issue. In hydroponics, they're saying, well, hey, we're not growing in a soil medium, therefore we're not beholden to the rules that govern soil-based agriculture, or agriculture. Well, if you're making a meat product, a fake meat, a lab meat, test tube meat, whatever you want to look at it, product that you're saying is 100% real meat without the livestock, then perhaps you're not beholden to the livestock themselves. It'd be the same argument. It's super weird, just saying. I don't... And we're already seeing some things, like plant-based meats that are now starting to label themselves non-GMO, you know, trying to leverage that non-genetically modified element. But for the last couple of years, we've seen half the country embrace genetic engineering. You know, trust the science. Trust the science might be one of the most used slogans of the last couple of years, where people have wholeheartedly been on board with the genetic evolution of our food, well, primarily medicines in the form of vaccines, but that technology is continuing to expand. It's just infiltrating more and more facets of our life every day. When you start to look into these things and take a step back, it just seems like our brave new world off in the future is maybe not that far off. It might be here sooner than we thought. And depending on how the argument is made, there'll be a social qualifier, like doing your duty, think of your neighbors, protecting the health of others, protecting the health of the planet, you know, whether it's climate change, whatever it is. There's all kinds of reasons that you could attach to these technologies to try to socially manipulate and leverage society to adopt your principles. And it's adopting technologies that eliminate the human-animal interaction. And we basically continue to isolate ourselves further and further and further away from nature in the natural world. It does not seem like a good idea. So while there may be some merits to all the GE technology, I'm just not an early adopter. I do think there's some fascinating things around it, and there's a lot going on with saving lives, but it opens up an entire Pandora's box of philosophical debate that really should be less emphasis on can we and more emphasis on should we. And until we get agreement on it, or at least can be willing to talk about it, then you know, we'll be at the whims of whatever government corporate handout they're going to mandate for us. We've already seen it. So anyway, I like these topics because it just opens up speculation and thinking about the future. And with things evolving so rapidly these days, that we're just, like as humans, evolving faster than we're probably ready for in so many ways. So what do you think about lab-grown meats? Does GMO even matter anymore? Does organic certification even matter? Do animals matter? Do we? I'll see you guys. Thanks.